Okay, so my name's John Brown. I used to be a lawyer, now I'm a judge. I must have met Phil right when he went to work at the station. He used to kind of come hit me up for free legal advice quite a bit. Phil was a really great guy, and some of the things I can't talk about because they're protected by attorney-client privilege. And anyway, I miss him a lot, and I wish he was still here.
Before we get started, a couple of ground rules need to be set.
Every single person in the room would bitch endlessly about Phil when he wasn't around, but we loved him. Some
new faces, some old faces, but all faces that knew Phil. Just play good music and have conviction about everything you play. Have a reason for every song you put on the radio.
I don't know how I'm gonna tell you. I can't play with you no more. I don't know how I'm gonna do what Mama told me. My friend, the boy next door.
Because you're not playing music for yourself. You're playing music for the listener.
It's not about you, it's about the people out there that are listening to you. It's more about your audience than anything else.
I grew up listening to a lot of good radio, and I talked to Phil about it, you know, DJs who I thought were influential to me.
The DJ was the most important thing, and I think that was the thing for me that Phil brought to KGLT.
You won't meet many people in your lifetime who are as influential or consequential as Phil Charles.
We got to learn a little about the music, we got to learn a little about him and a little about KGLT, and then he's out and it all happened in like a minute and it felt like he's talking to you, you know?
Phil used to call me early into my show and just kind of say almost nothing.
Phil said, you know, here's what I do. I always start out my show with the best 3 songs that I have.
So he'd tell me, Biggie, you gotta listen to your stuff.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, who are you? The station manager. Oh.
That's the way, oh, that's the way it ought to be.
I have this cowboy shirt on and he just rips my shirt off. He thought I had snaps. I didn't.
I would need a calculator.
Buttons flew everywhere.
Before, it was at least 30 years ago.
We were kind of friends after that. Maybe that's why I remember it, because he was like on the peripheral of like me knowing him, and after that, it's like we knew each other. Yeah, you know, you rip somebody's shirt off, you get to know them.
We started Voodie the same year that Phil became full-time at KGLT. Phil would say to me, how'd that show do? You guys did okay, didn't you? I got all my friends to come.
And I walked into the administrative offices of KGLT looking for whoever was in charge. Phil Charles at that time was the gatekeeper of KGLT, and he swung the gate wide open for me.
He was a DJ. He wanted you to do a good show. He enjoyed people doing a good show.
Phil said, when you hear yourself screw up on the radio, you will be so embarrassed by what you've done that you will make a mental note to never ever do that thing again.
And so I say to you that nothing really matters, and all you do is stand and cry.
Another favorite memory was him calling me up and saying, I hate what you're playing right now, but I love the way you present it.
Phil would actually sit down and talk to people and have an intelligent conversation, and musicians enjoyed that because they got treated a lot different when they met Phil.
He had many more experiences. He had gone to Woodstock, so he had had a lot of first-hand experience with music that I did not have, and I found that just fascinating.
He had a big head full of music, and Phil was just totally different. It was just a revelation to meet somebody like that. It changed my life to finally catch up with a DJ who I thought was insightful. Phil would kind of come and go in your life. You'd be around Phil a whole bunch, and then in 3 months he'd freaking disappear. He lived 4 blocks away from you. And
But every time something shitty happened in your life, all of a sudden Phil was back in the circle again and was checking in on you.
Thanks, Phil. And we miss you.
God bless Phil Charles.
He was such a gentleman and just an amazing person. Rest in peace.